In a world still chasing economic justice, one voice rises to inspire change. From the streets to the boardrooms, from ideas to real action, Cornell Cruz Jr. invites you to listen, learn, and transform. Come from the people, the community, always present, always pushing forward. Together we build opportunity, we build trust, and we build a just economy for all. This is the Just Economy Project, where equity has a sound, and the future begins with you.
Welcome, everyone, to another Just Economy podcast. I'm your host, Cornell Cruz Jr. I'm the executive director of the Community Reinvestment Alliance of Florida. We are a statewide membership organization, a nonprofit serving the state, increasing awareness on the Community Reinvestment Act of 1977, and supplying partnerships, collaborations, and education on the Community Reinvestment Act, along with financial institutions, nonprofit organizations, the community at large, and government. So today we're going to have a very special guest. Vivian Olodun is going to be with us. We'll get to her in just a second. But a couple of announcements. One, I want to thank you again for your participation in the nonprofit capacity building project. This was a huge project for us. We had initial investment from Truist Bank, along with Comerica Bank and Bank United. This program was a grant program of the $20,000 for organizations who had a $500,000 budget or less to increase capacity. And capacity covered everything from auditing to staffing. We also had another program for organizations that were $100,000 or less, for those organizations to build their financial capacity. We're working with a certified public accountant who gave them a free copy of QuickBooks, filed their 990, did their audit, and will have 1 year of continuing consultation with the particular organization. So it went really, really well, and I can't thank you guys enough for your participation. We had over 160 applications for the two iterations that we did. We were able to fund 47 organizations throughout Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. We're looking to extend it, so any of the financial institutions that's listening, and you know that I keep bugging you because I want to keep doing this and help build these organizations and make them stronger and stronger and stronger. I need your help in order to do that. Your investment in our community is based on the Community Reinvestment Act, and we need you in order to continue this program. So we look forward to that. Next, May 14th, Gulfstream Park, Summit 26. I can't believe I'm saying Summit 26. Summit 26 will be at Gulfstream Park May 14th. We'll start at 8:30, going to 3 o'clock, breakfast and lunch, as well as some dynamic speakers and some dynamic topics to talk about concerning the Community Reinvestment Act, facilitating partnerships and collaborations with the financial institutions that will be there. Last year at Summit 25, we had no less than 25 financial institutions, different financial institutions, represented at the conference. So we look forward to you being there. Come, get some knowledge on the Community Reinvestment Act, get updates on the Community Reinvestment as it stands today, as well as any updates between now and May 14th. And I'm really worried about the Community Reinvestment Act. I'm really worried about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. There's a lot happening in Washington, D.C. right now, as all of you well know. And we have to keep our eyes on the prize, and we have to keep fighting. So I need to get those updates to you, and I look forward to that in the summit. Also, come February 26th, we're going to do a listening session for the Community Reinvestment Act. We're going to talk about what we as the CRAF can do better for you, our members. And by the way, if you want to become a member, please go to reinvestmentalliance.org, sign up to become a member. I need your voice. As a matter of fact, I'll be going to D.C. for the NCRC conference in April. And one of those days is what we call Hill Day, where we'll spend all day on the Hill speaking to representatives, talking about the initiatives that are needed, not only with CRA, but events or initiatives that are needed in the state of Florida. So we'll be talking with our representatives. Last year, I had appointments with 9 representatives during that day, both Democrat and Republican, to talk about the needs of the state. So if you have any needs that you want to express, please, by all means, make sure you reach out and contact me so I can bring those up when I'm up in D.C. But in the summit is key for making contacts with the banks. It's key for making partnerships and collaborations with your fellow nonprofits, and talk about how we can all work together in order to make our community better. So I'm looking forward to that. So that we're also, again, as I stated, we're going to be doing a hybrid listening session February 26th, where we're going to talk about the needs of the community. We're going to talk about what you as social nonprofits need in order to help keep our community competitive, build our communities, and make our communities better. So that's going to be hybrid in person as well as online, so we can offer it throughout the state so folks can actually come on and talk about some of the things and raise their concerns. So I'm looking forward to that. You'll start seeing save the dates will start coming out this week, February 26, 2026. So brand new podcast, brand new year. After a challenging 2025, it seems that we're starting off this year even more challenging than last year. But we try to bring guests on to talk about the social needs in the community and to help the social impact organizations in order to strive in the community and expand their brand, expand the way they do business. We got to learn how to do this better, folks. I'm telling you, we have to learn how to do this better. So let's listen to some experts. So we did bring an expert on today. Her name is Vivian Olodun. Vivian Olodun, is a marketing strategist, author, and co-founder of Flourish Media, a marketing firm that connects women entrepreneurs to capital through storytelling. She also is the founder of Behind the Leaf, a nonprofit providing investor readiness training and access to funding for women-owned businesses. So welcome, Vivian. How are you today?
I'm outstanding. Thank you so much for having me here. This is going to be a great conversation.
I'm looking forward to it. I got some challenges for you too. So first, let's talk about how you got here. I'm always interested in people's personal history. I think personal history tends to lend to the overall general history, and it makes for a better conversation. So tell us, how did you get where you are now?
Well, I'm the CEO of Flourish Media, which is a marketing, training, and development agency. I believe in training and development because both of my parents were immigrants. My mother's from Panama. My father's from Nigeria, and they came here as military individuals. So they were in the U.S. military, and because of the training that they had there and the things that they learned about being a soldier and being present in the U.S. system, my father eventually became a political science professor, and I studied political science in college, went on to get my public administration degree, and then I have another degree in public relations. Because I understand the way that the government system works, I always find it fascinating that more people don't go after entrepreneurship and don't look at the opportunity to have a social impact business, and understanding that there are ways that we can develop our conversation, our stories, the things that we care about, and that our government is actually set up in a way to support those activities.
So you just hit on something. Let's talk about social impact business. And what do you mean by a social impact business?
I think good examples of social impact businesses are Bomba socks. A lot of us know that if you buy a pair of Bomba socks, they're going to give a pair of socks to someone else. Another social impact business, which has had many, many ups and downs recently, but is Starbucks. If you remember back when Starbucks started and we were all getting comfortable with Wi-Fi and having access to the internet, one of the things that drew people into their space was the ability to have free access to Wi-Fi in their cafes. And so being able to offer a service or a product that offers social good is having a business that is a social impact business.
So will we consider before we talk about Flourish Media, will we consider things like organizations that if you buy from certain organizations on Amazon, for instance, they donate a certain part of that to a particular nonprofit?
Yeah, so that element of the business is social impact. And so to have a social impact business, or you might be thinking about a mission that you care very deeply about. And when you have that mission, what a lot of nonprofits don't understand is that being a nonprofit, a founder of a nonprofit, a leader in a nonprofit, your number one responsibility will become fundraising. And you must understand how to bring in funds to operate that social impact mission. And what I've found a lot of savvy, deeply caring individuals do is that instead of focusing on the nonprofit work alone, they think about, well, what is the business or the service that we can offer so that we can create a business around the social impact that we want to give. The NFL is an interesting example of that. Rolex is actually a huge example of that because they operate as a nonprofit that offers these incredible watches.
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks don't know that the NFL is a nonprofit. They carry a nonprofit status. So that's interesting that you because one of the things that I'm sure a lot of executive directors and CEOs in the nonprofit world detest is fundraising. I detest fundraising with a passion. I had another guest who specializes in some time back, and she specializes in fundraising. And I told her, I said, my biggest problem is the ask, because I feel like it takes some special thing, I think, to differentiate from personal and professional, because I would take it, I would nod up because I felt like I was asking for myself instead of asking for the needs of the community. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. So for me, coming from two immigrant parents who were soldiers in the military, essentially what I do for my nonprofit through their eyes is beg people for money. And so I've enjoyed just embracing that. And realizing that I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for people who don't have a voice to do it for themselves. And being able to separate that ego, because when I went to college and received my my graduate doctorate, I'm speaking into existence. I do not have a PhD. But when it comes to developing my education, the thing that was driving me was being an advocate for people who did not have a voice. And that actually comes back to my relationship with my siblings. I spoke up for them a lot in our household, and the power that gave me, even though I was the only girl and I'm super small, I'm only 5'2", and being able to use my voice in that way made me feel very powerful, and it helped me to dive deep into that caregiver nature that I have, or that protective nature that I have. And that's my strength, is being able to speak up for people who can't speak up for themselves. And so it might be begging, but I'm going to beg for a very good reason.
I hear you. It took me a long time to try to separate, as you said. Now that the one thing that I didn't associate it with, it was ego, but it is, because I just felt like I felt bad, because I'm like, I'm asking for me instead of asking for the community. I just felt bad. So I'm sure with you speaking up as a child, you annoyed your parents, right? Constantly.
No, my parents. So that's
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So let's talk about Flourish Media first. So tell us a little bit about Flourish Media.
So Flourish Media is a marketing, training, and development agency. So what we do and have done for over 10 years now is we train business owners on marketing trends and technology. And so when we started, we would talk a lot about how to use social media for your digital reputation. That's your SEO, how to show up in search when someone's looking for information. And that has grown over the 10 years to specializing in talking about working with influencers, how to negotiate those contracts with different organizations, how to utilize AI now. We have last year we did an AI training for small business owners, and we trained over 300 small business owners on how to create custom GPTs as PR booking agents. What we found in doing so is that a number of our community have been able to use that PR booking agent to secure grants. They've used it to get podcast interviews. They've used it to be highlighted by different organizations. We had 7 different small businesses in our community, and when I say community, it's because we have a Flourish membership, who are able to get a grant from Emirates Bank. Shout out to Emirates Bank, to have a membership to the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce, for example.
Oh, good, good. So, I know that I people talk so much about the ills of social media. I'm kind of the opposite. One thing I love about social media is that social media lets me know what you really think of me.
Right.
By your posts, your likes, things of this nature, lets me know what you really think of me. So that's one of the things I'm grateful for social media. A lot of the small business owners, when I hear them speaking, one of the things that they talk about is, I don't have time. I can't make the time. I don't have the money to hire someone. They feel like it takes so much of their time. But it sounds like what you're saying is, not only is it a necessity, but it also does not take all the time that you think it does, right?
100%. So one of the things that is important when I'm working with a small business or an organization on their social media is to ask them, what is the point of your social media? Is your social media supposed to reinforce an overarching social media campaign or strategy? Are you trying to gain leads? What is the purpose? And so for a lot of small businesses, especially those that are going after funding, the point of your social media is to create social proof of the mission that you say that you're going after, so that when you do apply for a grant, when you do apply to be a part of a cohort or some type of enrollment, when they go to your social, you have proof that the thing they're working on shows up in that space. And so when you understand that, and you understand that my social media is going to help me to win a $50,000 grant, it's going to help me to win a $10,000 grant, it's going to help me to get that application for that enrollment, the way that you approach your social media changes. And if I could add one more thing, is that bulk creation is the thing that most organizations don't do well, but could save so much time. We're here, it's January, we're in the beginning of the year. You already know all of the holidays that are going to come up this year. Why would you think about posting it on that day? Why not take 3 hours of your day today, create a custom GPT, connect that GPT to your base website, your official website, and then tell it, create a social post for me for every federal holiday, and then copy and paste it. It only takes 3 hours max to do all of your, at least that activity for the entire year.
We got to want to take that time, right? We got to want to do that, and understand how important it is in order to create that content. But if I can take 3 hours and I can have it done for the whole year, that's a big plus as far as I'm concerned, because if I own a small business and I'm trying to run the business as well, doing it, taking the time. I know it sounds like I'm fighting you, Vivian. I know you feel like I'm fighting you, but I'm just taking it from my perspective.
Yeah.
And what I've heard the small businesses talk about, and how they feel like it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
But how do you go about getting them to see? What is your methodology about getting them to see that it doesn't have to be?
I love that question, and it's the Seasons Quiz. And it took 10 years to get to this product, this system, to be able to identify what should you spend your time doing. And what the Seasons Quiz is it's a free quiz. It's online. You can go to @FlourishMediaCo, @FlourishMediaCo.com on any platform, and you can find it. And it'll ask you a series of questions, and then it will tell you what season are you in your business. Because some small business owners are focusing on the right thing, they're just doing it at the wrong time. We have to do so much as entrepreneurs, as organizations, as leaders, but you don't need to do all of it at once. I just talked about the holiday sale. What happens if you think through, okay, well, now I want to highlight our offers, our mission statement. You can do the exact same thing. You spend one day, you got the whole quarter planned out. And I say quarter because within the Flourish community, we look at the quarter in 3 ways. The first month is focused on what we call your freedom number. So as an organization, this is the top line number that you would love to raise that is going to help you create your dream programming, dream staff, be able to really make a big impact. Your ROI month, which is the second month of the quarter, is looking at the investments that you've made in the organization or in the business to make sure that you're actually using it. Because what I've found now, because I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over a decade, I've been in marketing for 20 years, is that a lot of organizations, they tend to invest in things and then just not use it to the maximum of its capacity. And so
Know that feeling intimately.
yeah, and so just looking at it, and then the third month of the quarter is just about celebration, looking at your movement from that ROI number to your freedom number.
So I in reading your website, I noticed that you target, I shouldn't say target, that you really aim for women entrepreneurs, correct?
Yes.
I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My grandmother owned her own beauty shop in Overtown for over 45 years. My mother owned her own beauty shop practically my whole life. So in making programs and opportunities more accessible to women, how are you going about that? How are you going about that marketing strategy? I'm sorry.
No worries. So when it comes to Flourish Media and our Flourish membership, we focus on women entrepreneurs. And we always say that we're women focused, but men friendly.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, because we've always, for the 10 years, we've always supported men-owned businesses, if there's ever a term like that. But we think about, what does a woman need between the ages of 40 to 65? And the reason being is that is a demographic of the bulk of our members. And when you look statistically at successful businesses that are owned by women, they are typically 47 to 56 years old. And during that time, you are often a caregiver for others. You are managing menopause, perimenopause. You might have had a death in the family at that point, or you might have had many transitions that have happened in your life at that point. And because of the way that we've designed the Seasons Quiz, we take into account all of those things as you are building your business. And so we talked about having a social impact business, right? And so for me, I want to help my community, and the best way that I've seen that from my personal experience is to have a business. And the people who make an impact in the community, I feel, are when women are supported, the ripple effect that happens when they donate to their neighbors, when they make time for their community, the way that they spend their money. When a woman gets access to money, the entire community grows. And so it's bigger than a target demographic from a marketing perspective, but it has everything to do with my commitment to social impact.
So, two things. One, you encourage women entrepreneurs to have a social impact. And then number two, is the majority of your members, or the majority of the folks you serve, are they starting at a certain age group, or had a prior career and now moving on to something else? Is the majority that, or is it younger women who came out of college or even out of high school and go, you know what, I want to start and do my own thing?
So we find that we are the second or third season of the woman's life. So typically we have the highest number of members who are 51 plus. That's the age. And so when we look at that, they have had many degrees. We have a lot of PhDs in my community, a lot of master's degrees in our community, and they have gone through a career. They've specialized in something. And ultimately what they found is that they were sold a dream, because when they look at their bank account, the bank account doesn't match the level of education that they have. And so they're freelancing at first, a lot of them, or they have something on the side that they're doing to supplement their salaries. And then they find that, if I had a system around this freelance gig that I'm doing, I could actually leave my job. And that transition takes support, because we've been trained that having a job, working for someone else, is a secure behavior. But if you find that you can get health care on your own, You can bring in more money on your own. When we take the time to talk about financial literacy and understanding, and shout out to Capital One Bank, who's been a partner with us for 5 years and helping us to have our dollars and cents master classes in their space, where we talk about financial literacy. When you make your money being in the markets, making sure that you are creating a lifestyle that you want. That's what that freedom number comes from.
Glad to hear that a financial institution is contributing. Larry, glad to hear that. If you ever need me to stomp on somebody, I'm prepared. I want to go a little off the rail here with a question. A lot happened last year, and one of the things that happened last year was programs, grants that were specifically for women, Hispanic, African American in particular. As a matter of fact, they went to a lawsuit to stop those programs. How are you navigating that world right now? Because we're in a different world than we were 15, 16 months ago. We're in another world now.
Very much so.
So how are you going to navigate that? Because I feel the attack is going to come. Mm-hmm. It already has for several organizations. The attack is going to come for organizations who provide services and are targeting services towards women, especially women of color.
So the way that we have dealt with that is, we talked a little bit about it, is having a social impact business. Because every business offers a solution to a problem, and you're asking to be paid for that thing. And so what Behind the Leaf has done, because Behind the Leaf is the name of our 501c3, and we've always received the majority of our funding from businesses, from large organizations. We've received grants from Samsung, Meta, from FedEx, from a number of different brands. And because of that, and because of the private individuals who have donated to us, we have not been impacted because we didn't lean on government-backed grants. Mm-hmm. And so what I've found is that a lot of organizations are seeking out Flourish Media to train them on how do you structure your fundraising so that it is healthy in this landscape. Something else that I have to say is that you are an accredited investor when you have $250,000 of income or $1 million of assets. And a lot of us don't understand the impact that we can have when we are bringing in that kind of funding. And you have an opportunity to make a nonprofit organization your tax haven. Because when you're donating to a nonprofit, you are receiving tax benefits by doing so. So recirculating those funds should be a part of your financial planning and your financial literacy. And I think that nonprofits need to look at the demographic that benefits the most from their work and think about those individuals who fit an accredited investor profile and invite them into your space so that they can be sustaining partners as you are building out your mission.
Thank you, Vivian. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Vivian Olodun.